I will focus on AI, and I will tell use it and don't abandon AI because it doesn't work well. Try to find areas where it works well.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Software Engineering Tales. Today, I talk with Petr, who is a senior software engineer, and we talk a lot about AI and how AI can help you as a software developer, because that has been Petr's focus for last few years. And he also recently created online training to help you use AI as developer. I will add the link to the description of the video. So we talk about that and about his journey throughout the industry, about job hopping. As a last thing, and really interesting, we talk about his mindset shift from being a freelancer to more start building businesses, because he's building a few of them. And one that was most interesting for me is that he found out the way how to connect entry level developers with companies to get some real commercial experience and kickstart their careers. As always, if you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe. There is more good stuff coming, and don't forget to check the previous episodes as well, because they are all good chats. Let's get to it. Welcome to Software Engineering Tales. I'm really glad that you could make it.
I'm glad to.
Let's start in the beginning. How did you get into programming?
It actually started when I was a kid because I loved playing games. And when we got our first computer, a friend of my dad asked, "What are we gonna do?" And he was like, "Yeah, Daddy, here you open sesnam.cz, like the search website." And then he put me in front of computer, and he was like, "Yeah, here you open the Pirate Bay and you download any game you want." And it started like this, and then it continued with me playing games, and I wanted to be professional, so there was some automation tools, and they were written in JavaScript, and that's how it all started.
So JavaScript is language close to your heart.
Yeah, it's closest, even though I didn't start it truly with JavaScript. I started with PHP, and back then I bought a book about PHP 6, which never made it because the version was so broken that they decided to jump straight to version 7.
Could you tell us something about your career journey, like how you got into creating software for money, and basically how you got where you are now? Because as far as I understood, you moved more towards some freelance and some business creating and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it all feels natural. It just came to me because it started that I hacked school because I wanted to turn on the internet and learn programming because the lessons from teachers were completely boring. So I turned on the internet and started learning, and then I got caught. And it was on one way negative, but on the other hand it was very positive because as we were ending the fourth year, just before the final exams, the teacher came to me and he was like, "Yeah, I remember you, and I know that you hacked the school, so I know you are capable, and we are looking for somebody in our company." And I got first job even before I finished the school, or at least the offer. But I didn't stay there for long because they forced me to do PHP, even though it was front end role, and I decided to just leave.
And then feel
Then
free
I
to continue.
continued with basically someone would say it's chronicle job hopping because I've had 7 jobs in 7 years.
Oh,
And yeah,
And
it was great experience. Even though I wasn't in every job for 1 year, I've had longer stays, and I had one really short stay. It was pretty in the beginning of the career, and I was teenager. I was lazy, so I didn't want to go to job soon. And I've been playing World of Warcraft up until long nights. And we decided that I can go to job after the lunch. But there are two problems. First one is that they didn't know I have lunch at 2 o'clock, and I eat for 1 hour.
okay,
And second one was that they allowed me to go to job late, but I still had to join calls at 9 o'clock. So I didn't get sleep, and they didn't get presents in the office. So we decided to part away.
I would like to dive a little bit into like the mentality of like job hopper, let's say, because I think like me personally, I'm sticking with one project and one company for 4 years now, and but I can see the benefits. What would you say are the most was more rewarding for you in changing job more often, and did it backfired at you at some point or not at all?
Yeah, so I think it was there are many factors why I changed jobs. First one is that I wasn't good employee, so we decided to part away because I've been playing even some real life games, and I didn't work that much as they expected. But on the other hand, I kind of wanted to leave because if you change jobs or at least threaten to leave the job, you can get a salary bump. So I
Yeah,
grew pretty fast in salary, and actually I've had two times triple digit percentage increase, which I feel is pretty great. And yeah, I definitely had questions about why are you changing jobs so often, and I decided to make it my benefit. And even the short contract, which was for 1 month, I was like, yeah, I was dumb back then, but now I'm not anymore. I can go to work at 10 o'clock,
yeah.
and it worked.
Would you say that it was one of the key factors that you had, like, let's say, better than standard salary and you were making good money that gave you the freedom to really think about, shift to more freelancing and shift to creating the projects?
Yeah, I think it was definitely one of the major factors. But other one was more about how I approach things, and my approach is always focusing on not boosting just myself, but boosting the team. So I always focused on developer tools. I focused on improving the process of deployment, of code review, and everything. And that's what companies love, because I keep saying that you can't become 10 times engineer if you don't amplify power of the others.
That's totally true. And I would like you to elaborate a little bit on this because basically, if I understand it correctly, you are now helping companies with exactly this, right? As one of
Yeah, it's
things
like
that
a
you do.
smaller part. I didn't invest much time in propagation of this aspect. uh, I focus more on like boosting productivity with AI, because yeah, it's a new trend. I love AI. I've been actually using
Yeah.
it before COVID, before it was cool, and yeah, I only recommend things that I really use, and that's what companies love. That's what allowed me to work with companies like T-Mobile or Fortuna, for example.
Mm, let's stay with that for a bit because for me as a software engineer that is an interesting topic. I didn't have much opportunity to dive really into how AI can help me with my job because of some constraints on the project that I use because the company is not yet comfortable with using AI and privacy issues and all this stuff. But if you could tell me how can AI boost my productivity the easiest and the best way, where
Yeah,
we are
so
today?
I'll start here. And the best way is research. When you don't know some technology and sometimes even some solution, you can just search it, and there's nothing confidential. If I, as a developer, don't know differences between CUID, UUID, and others, I can easily search the information and then just apply it to the code. But I don't threaten losing some company data, some internal data, which is really great. Next thing is debugging, where it can assist you really fast in searching things that otherwise you would spend hours on Stack Overflow, because it can be digged deep in some conversation that's long forgotten.
Yeah,
And last but not least is the thing you mentioned about security and privacy. I get this question often from many companies, and we already have tools that can run completely isolated in your black box environment. It can run even offline. So it's not that powerful, but it can serve many purposes that the biggest and the best models can do.
and where do you think we will be in like 3 or 5 years? Should I be worried about my job as software engineer?
It will change. It will dramatically change. And actually, I've had a talk about this on FrontCon, and my prediction is that our job will change more towards architecture and domain knowledge, and that's actually the thing that makes senior plus and staff plus engineers who they are. It's not about their insane coding abilities and writing with 10 fingers. It's about knowing the domain and understanding the business and how do you bring the value. And that's what I think will be even more important with AI, because it can give you some hints, but doesn't really understand everything in your business. It doesn't have enough data about your customers, about your product, your business plan, and it will need a huge improvement on this side to work well and to replace even this role. So I think that this is like prediction for 3 to 5 years. And I think you know Ryan Peterman, right? A
Yeah.
staff engineer from Instagram. Yeah. So he wrote on Twitter that 80% of his skills went from 100% value to zero, and 20% not quadrupled, not doubled, but went 100 times more valuable than before. And that's the stuff engineering that you do.
Yeah, but that means also that, as far as I understand it, probably you will need far less people in software engineering, right?
In long run, probably yes. But I think that the biggest threatened area of developers are people who I call code monkeys, like people who make WordPress website. Uh, it's partially in decline already because we have tools such as Webflow and others that replace it for simple websites, and it will accelerate even more with those people. But with others, I don't think it will decline the amount of jobs, because we will have more applications, more iteration. Every project manager will be able to do some MVP and validate the idea. But then comes a big problem, because it's the same thing with low code and no code tools and other things that make our life easier. And it's the thing that it has limits. And if you hit the limits, people without previous experience won't understand that there is a big problem that you can't easily go around. And I've already met it, and my friends who are doing low code tools, they've made it as well. Somebody makes the application really fast. They do it in like 1 day, but then they hit the limit and go to some professional. And professional tells them, yeah, we need 1 month of work to fix this. And then people are like, why 1 month? It took me only 1 day. What takes you so long? And you can't tell people your architecture is non-existent and it's utter bullshit. You need to be diplomatic and you need to communicate it well.
Yeah. And maybe one more question about this topic, because I know that you are working a lot with like junior developers or people that want to get into the industry, and we will get to that part of your endeavors. But I feel that basically AI will make it harder for people to get into industry, because I'm a bit worried that these junior level jobs will be replaced by usage of AI. What do you think about that?
I get this question a lot. And on one hand, it's good to have this fear. But on the other, let's think about it this way. You can either be senior with 20 years of Java experience in some corporate, never change a job, and you hate AI because it doesn't do things you want to do. And you can be junior who knows AI, who uses it well, and it will accelerate your career growth. You will have 24/7 buddy, you will have 24/7 code review mentor, and many more things. So if you use AI correctly, it can actually bump your skills and accelerate it rather than making it harder. But it's one more thing that you need to understand that it's really important. Previously, it was like, yeah, for front end development, just learn HTML and CSS. Now, those jobs don't exist almost, and you need to
Yeah.
know some framework. And now you need to AI, use AI, understand it, and maybe even teach it to colleagues, because that's one of the best things you can grow. If you write about content, if you talk about it, if you show it to other people, you can accelerate your growth, because then you need to understand the concepts really deep in order to explain simply.
Yeah. And is this something that you are implementing in your business that's faced towards like junior developers? I think it's called Naučně IT. So like teach me IT, right?
Yeah. We have a course on AI. We had two successful rounds, and now we are waiting for approval from Czech government, because there's some donation program that can make it cheaper for people. And I'm also working on completely self-paced AI course that will be focused on AI in development. So not using AI in your applications and making it customer facing, but using it for yourself to boost your productivity. And it all starts with GitHub Copilot. Everybody knows Copilot, but actually it's one of the worst tools we have right now.
And which one is the best?
Right now, I love continue.dev because it's a plugin for VS Code, and it works really well. You can add documentation, it automatically indexes it, and you can reference it. And what really surprised me is that I asked it to write state machine, and it did it in first round, which never happened in Claude or ChatGPT without like really harsh instructions and focusing on it. And there's one more thing, and that's it. The continue the dev doesn't force you to use only one AI. So if you have constraints from company, you can run it completely locally. If you prefer ChatGPT, you can use it. If you prefer Claude from Anthropic, you can use it. And it's the best thing, the flexibility. Also, it's 100% open source, so it's really great.
Thank you for suggestions. I need to check it myself. Uh, Let's get back to that business where you help people who wants to get into software engineering or like very junior entry level developers. uh, I think that it was first business that you started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how this idea struck your mind? Why helping junior developers? How did you get into that?
Yeah, it started when I was on the university, which I didn't finish. And I kept coming to some meetups, to some events, and I was really motivated. And then my friends that were outside of IT started asking me, "Yeah, Peter, you know IT, you do it all the time, and can you teach me? I know you have like good salary, you have freedom, you don't need to go to work every day because you have home office and stuff like that." So the idea came back when I was working for a company called Tech Fights. And then I was thinking about it more and more, and I started teaching those people, but it was unstructured and it was basically one on one mentoring mostly. And I wanted it to scale. And then when I was riding in shared car drive, I met my co-founder, and we decided to make a company. So we are three co-founders: me, my girlfriend, and the co-founder I've met in the car. And now it's officially second year the company exists, but it had longer story before.
So how does it work? I want to get into software engineering. I sign up. I pay for some bootcamp or course, and that's it. Or is there more?
Yeah, so we actually don't focus that much on courses because there's big competition, and we kind of burnt out when we tried to use the government donation program and it didn't work. So we focus more on the community aspect, and the biggest advantage we have is that we connect juniors with companies because, and I think you can confirm it, one of the hardest
Yeah,
thing is to get real world experience.
yeah. Everyone's like entry level. That means 1 year commercial experience, and and you can't really get into that industry and through that wall. So
Yeah.
that's
And
yeah,
that's what
that's
we do. We try to communicate with companies that are willing to give a chance to some junior developer, and they are not forced to give him full-time job and care about the junior developer or tester or any other position. It's really flexible, so they can take some tasks from bottom of the backlog, and we just estimate it together with the company, and they pay the amount we decided in advance, which is the next big thing. Because first, if you hire a junior, it's really expensive. You need to spend a lot of time with him, and our estimations are it's around $10,000 at least in first 3 months. It can be like even way bigger number, and you need to count there like lost productivity of developer and stuff like that. And it usually can take even more than 1 year before junior starts paying its value, its investment. So we handle it in a way that we care about common stuff. So junior doesn't bother his colleagues with, yeah, how do I write commit message? We take care of this, and company takes care of business knowledge, of domain knowledge that we can't have. So the junior has basically two buddies that he can work with, and we are one of them, and also we are middleman for the company side.
yeah, that sounds like something different. So I hope that it will be really successful, and I think it can really help people. That's really cool business. And but I know that it doesn't stop with this business with you, because you recently started some other endeavors. Like I think you were into some like AI enhanced online
Learning.
platform for e-learnings or
Yes.
something like that?
Yeah, it's the project that I kind of spin off from the previous company, and it was also idea from my endeavors on LinkedIn. And the idea is that it's pretty hard to consume the content and have it engaging and working well. So we are working on building education platform that's modular and flexible because we have huge solutions like Moodle and Talent LMS from the modern side, and it's really hard to go all in. If you are a company, you don't want to migrate all your education you have because it might be bad platform, you might lose some data, it might be insecure. So we decided to make it uh, completely environment agnostic, let's say. So our solution can run on premise in any cloud, and we even work on a SaaS version that's hosted by us. So it's completely independent, and based on the feedback we've got, we are now focusing on making the preparation easier because there are some companies that still do hiring twice a month, and they need to find some place where they will educate people, find some room, find some mentor, and it's all big problem to find those things, and they lose a lot of money. So some companies started making videos, but those videos sometimes take 3 hours, and you get so easily bored watching 3 hours monologue. So our focus is working with any input source. It can be presentation, it can be Word document, it can be video, audio, whatever, and we make it engaging. We add some interactive parts like quizzes. We enhance video. Right now we are working on, I call it rich video experience. You can add any video or audio, and it will automatically make subtitles. It will automatically make chapters, and it will also add transcription so you can easily search through the video. It's one of the biggest problems I have with video. I can't just press Control F for some word I know that was there. I need to click in the video, and it's so bad.
Yeah, that sounds cool. So, what would you say that for you personally was the biggest challenge when like moving from this mindset? Okay, I'm developer, I'm paid to create these features, to like now I'm more freelancer. There is less certainty, and I'm inventing something new.
Yeah, so there are actually two hard things that I've met, and first one was about freelancing. As you mentioned, it's uncertainty, and it's hard to get clients, but I'm working on it. On the other hand, throughout my career, I managed to get a lot of money, so I was living from my previous salaries. But now it's the resources are getting scarce. So it's on one hand it's a bit scary. On the other hand, it can motivate you really hard. And next thing, and it's mostly outside of freelancing, is that I need to focus more on delivery because in companies you have sprints, and if you do it, you do it. And most of the companies don't push performance really hard, like outcome of the employee.
Yeah.
So if you switch to making your own company, and in the first phase, you really need to validate your idea, get feedback. And in order to get feedback, you need to deliver some features. And I'm tech enthusiast. So in the past, and even now from time to time, I catch myself in exploring of ideas and new shiny
Yeah.
technologies, and it just doesn't work in this mindset.
So how do you keep track of these things and track of your time? Do you have some framework for that or some, tooling?
Yeah, so I try to minimize my current stack. And on one hand, I'm getting way better. On the other, I'm still problematic with this area right now. I've been tinkering with some solution again, but what helps me is some sort of deadlines. And right now, I have 6 people on wait list, so I really know that I need to deliver.
Yeah, that's
And other thing is that I love Simon Hoiberg. He's independent business owner of 3 or 4 bootstrap companies. And what he really says is focus on building foundations. So if your first company fails, you know that you can reuse more. And I took it even to another level. And I have one solution that is flexible enough to build more applications. So as I grow with experience and the tooling grows as well, the idea is that I will be able to launch application within one day with the same level of user experience that is already there in the past applications. So we are making shared authorization and authentication. We are making shared payments. So it will be reusable in all the other applications. And I think it's a really great architecture we have right now. And I got investment, or not really investment, because it wasn't for shares, but it was government money. And for that, I can now pay a developer that works with me. And he's like, I was working with O2, the phone provider,
yeah.
and we never had such type safety. Right now, our application doesn't even compile if API doesn't work with frontend.
That's cool. And this reusability, I think, is a really good idea and can be cornerstone of your future endeavors. So let's get back to AI, if we may.
Yeah.
Uh, I know that everyone is talking about it, but what would you say from like your experience is the current exposure of like normal population?
And so exposure in normal population is way lower than influencers think.
Yeah,
And even between developers, I don't think that high as some people say. And it can be for many because of many reasons. One is companies are not willing to explore this, and it needs to go through validation and security, and they need to have some corporate practices. And I understand it because they are responsible and they need to obey the laws and stuff like that. But on the other hand, if the company doesn't push it and developers want to do it, they will find a way. And if there's no clear guideline, it will be even more unsafe than if there's some guideline, even though limited.
yeah. So would you say that basically everyone will be forced to, you know, start using it or perish in like next 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
Yeah, I think that it will grow. But we already met some limitations. For example, AI is really good in doing some repetitive work. Let's say you need to migrate from Java version 8 to Java 17, and there's well documented change logs and what you need to do in the libraries. And developers don't want to do it. You don't
Yeah.
want to spend time migrating ton of applications. And that's basically what Amazon did with their huge claim. We saved 4.5 thousand developer years in development, which is a huge number.
that
But
means that means a lot of money if you translate it to money. Yeah.
yeah, it means a lot of money. But on the other hand, it's 0.06 money from year money from Amazon, I think. So
Yeah.
it's not that big on their scale. What they did is that they needed exactly this migration from old Java to new Java version of all the legacy applications. And they used their own internal AI to do this migration. And because it's corporate, they have big test coverage. So they've had more confidence that it works well. And without AI, this wouldn't be really possible because developers don't want to work on it. And for a company, I mean, many companies have the idea if it works, don't touch it, and it makes sense. But then some security hole comes like Heartbleed, and companies go nuts. I've met it in previous company. They've been using Java 8 on production, and Heartbleed came, and there were no security patches for this.
So, what would you say that is the biggest challenge for like software engineering today as an industry?
Hmm, that's a really good question, and I don't have good answer for that. Um, I think it depends on the state you are in. If you are asking this from the position of company or from experienced developer or from junior developer, and the answers would vary a lot. I think that like the biggest challenge right now we have is that we don't know what will future bring, and it's because of AI, it's because of some laws, it's because of many people are making their own applications without developers. So there's big uncertainty between us, and we don't have clear prediction.
How do you feel about cybersecurity? Because I think it's getting more easier for less, experienced attackers to make a really good phishing campaigns and some discover some new like attack vectors using AI.
Yeah, so cybersecurity area is actually area which really grows, even as like software engineering subpart. And it's exactly because of this. It's easier to scam people. It's easier to write some script kiddie content and script kiddie scripts. So it's getting easier, and companies and people need to invest more in the security. So it's one of the areas I would predict that it's really good to understand and grow in it.
Okay, let's turn the page. One thing that I ask every of my guests: tell me about some time you really messed up, and what you learned from that.
Yeah, so I shared one thing already, and it was
Yeah.
about me staying in the company for only 1 month. But it was not technical fuck up. I've had one pretty big technical fuck up, and it was in the beginning of my career. It was second job, and my task was to initiate the project and pick technologies based on my knowledge. And I read a lot, so I understand a lot of technologies, and I have wide knowledge. So I picked what I thought was the best, and it was technology well used in Facebook. So why not use it? It was for GraphQL. It was library called Relay, and it would work well. But I forgot one thing. I forgot to communicate it back to my boss, who was orchestrating the backend side, and he chose different structure for GraphQL backend than I chose with Relay for frontend. So even though it was supposed to make pagination and everything way easier, it made it way worse because we had to manually write all the resolvers and functions on backend because of the schema. And it was too late to change it because the project was already running, client was pushing. So it was pretty big fuck up. And I think it would be solved only with communication.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting point because uh, I think that most of the issues in software engineering are bad communication.
Yes.
Either either you don't get the requirements from the customer the right way that it was meant, or you just miscommunicate in the team and then you do these costly mistakes basically. So how do you think that the team should improve the communication? Do you have some like good practices from your experience in 7 companies?
Yeah, so I think that key is to know how to ask questions, and it works everywhere, not just in company between people, but it worked really well with Google and with searching stuff, and now it works really well with AI. And people are like, people are. I will go a bit sideways.
Yeah.
People are asking me how big productivity boost I get from ChatGPT in research, and I'm like, it's not that big boost, but the reason is I was already really good in searching information, and AI makes it way easier. But if you are proficient enough, it's only some acceleration, but not 10 times improvement.
Yeah. So how to ask the right way?
You need to think, if you read ticket, if you read some message from your colleague, don't jump straight to the keyboard and be like, I will push this dumb man to the ground, and he doesn't know anything. Focus more on the idea, what he tries to tell, and what's the supposed solution, and think about it. And I like some thoughts. I don't know who's the original author, but it's like, I have the idea and I stop for 10 minutes, think about it, and then I go back to it. And it's also same thing with ideas for projects. You get the idea, then you let it rest for one day, and if it's still good idea, you can process.
Yeah.
And it's same with reactions and communication in companies. It's better to think it through and ask and be polite, because we are all human beings, at least for now. So it's important to understand that people have like emotions, and it works like everywhere. It's not only when you communicate on Slack or in person, but if you do code review, you also don't want to sound harsh and write something like, yeah, this is bullshit, rework it. You need to provide meaningful feedback.
Yeah. You said humans for now. Do you think that it will be like reality that basically I will have some AI agent as a team member in a few years, and I will just send him, hey, Bob, can you do this PR for me?
Yeah, I think that there's like a lot of money in this area. Companies want to make it automatic, and there have been bullshit tools like Devin AI, and it was just hype and nothing out of it. But more companies are investing in it, and it's everywhere. It's not only in software engineering; it's in sales, in support. Klarna, I think, they replaced 700 people on support with chat automation and chatbot. So I think it will be definitely possible. And there are like people saying, I always say hi and I say please, so that I won't be killed by Terminator, which I think is highly unlikely. But it makes sense to still be good in communication. And I don't know if there will be complete shift and we'll do only validation and writing of requirements, of, or if we'll have full AI colleagues. I don't know, but there will be definitely some mid time where it will be mixture of experiments, and we'll see if it works well or not.
Would you be okay personally if AI was basically going with you through the like pre-screen round of interview for a new job?
I actually tested such tool, and it's it can eliminate some things, but on the other hand, I believe that what makes the best interview experience is understanding the company, its beliefs, its values, and AI can't really communicate it. And
Yeah,
it's
I meant, yeah, sorry, but I meant more like, like this technical pre-screen or something like that, because right now it's usually someone goes to like 20 minutes call with you, and you do some maybe live coding in like Codility or lead code style environment, and then they ask you some questions like what was some bug that you recently solved,
yeah.
and why. So if such thing would be replaced by like AI agent, if you would be comfortable with that or not at all.
I would hate it. And the reason is if it would be like some live coding and just solving it and some lead code style, it can be made automatic. But I think that this way, this approach sucks. I prefer discussion with the person so that I can, as one that's being interviewed, I can understand the company and people on the other side, and they can understand me, they can understand my mindset. And that's also next thing. It's what makes senior and staff engineers who they are. Uh, and yeah, so you would lose this thing in process. You can make it automatic for juniors and mediors, but as people grow, they don't want to have some lead code tasks and just be exempt like in school.
Cool. Let's wrap up. One last question for you. Take home message. If our listeners should take just one thing, one idea from you with them, what it should be.
I will focus on AI, and I will tell use it and don't abandon AI because it doesn't work well. Try to find areas where it works well, and it can be research, it can be some advice, it can be your mentor and guide throughout your career, and those are areas where it works really well.
Thank you, Peter, for stopping by. It was a really good conversation, and see you around. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.